solo gigs. It's just you up there, your guitar, and you're singing. One of the goals is to try to have less equipment on stage and less stuff you had to set up and tear down. One of the things I did, and you guys probably remember this from a few videos ago, I just got the Electro-Voice Evolve 50M system. And real quick, this video is sponsored by Electro-Voice. I want to say thank you so much, guys, for sending me this Evolve 50M. It has been awesome. And you may remember in that video, I wanted to demonstrate using this system with a monitor. Now, I know I just talked about less gear, and you may be thinking, well, do you even need a floor monitor with a system like this? My short answer is no. However, there are some situations where you may want to consider using a floor monitor in addition. So first, I'm going to show you how to connect your floor monitor to the Evolve 50M system, which that's the simple part. Then I'm going to take you behind the scenes and let you hear what it sounds like on stage with a monitor and without the monitor. Lastly, I'm going to share some situations with you where you may want to consider using a floor monitor even when using one of these portable column systems. Oh, and hang around till the end of the video, because as a little bonus here, I'm going to walk you through all the gear that I'm using on stage here. Connecting a monitor to the Evolve 50M system, very, very simple. I mean, we're literally just going to take an XLR cable here and we're going to plug it right into the mix out. Now, this gives you the exact mix that you're hearing from the system. It's going to give you that through the monitor as expected. Now, we're going to take the other end of that and we're going to plug it into our monitor, which I've had this Electro-Voice PXM monitor for several years now. And as most of you know, I've been playing through Electro-Voice speakers for well over 3 years now. It was just kind of cool to not have to set up the big speakers on the stands like I've been doing. That's how you connect the monitor to your Evolve 50M system, and I'm sure this works the same with any portable column system. Now, I want to take you up on stage with me, and I want you to hear what it sounds like playing with a monitor versus without a monitor. Now, real quick, to capture this sound, I'm just using an iPhone here. I think it's an old iPhone 11 or something, and I've just got it sitting back here. So the sound quality, don't expect it to be pristine, but it will still give you sort of an idea of what it sounds like with and without the monitor.
Kinda know about the dues you've been paying. You just got me much too slow. When you're born out of the sun, you just keep on staying. Can't decide which way to go. I understand about indecision. It's in your eyes, making you cry. Don't know what to do. Looking for love, call we're not above. Send me an angel. Send me an angel.
Thank you, folks. Guys, thank you so much for coming out to Fiorelli Winery today. You girls are still here. Thank you for staying the whole time. Awesome.
Speaking of, I'm playing at a place called Fiorelli Winery. This is out in Bradenton, Florida. Hey, if you're in that area or the surrounding area, do stop by this place. It's really cool. Plus, I'm playing there live, usually the first Saturday of the month and sometimes an additional time that month. Now, I'd like to know, could you tell a substantial difference with the monitor and without the monitor? Hey, let me know in the comments. But before you do that, let's talk about just a few scenarios where you may consider getting a floor monitor for a system like this. Now, first things first, the Electro-Voice Evolve 50M is actually designed to where you don't really need a monitor. If you're up there and you're in close proximity to that system, you really don't need one. You guys saw my video where I used it for the first time at another winery, and I really didn't need it. I really didn't miss it, but I did wanted to test having a monitor to see if I could tell a difference. And one thing I will tell you is, yes, I've got more volume up there, okay, with a floor monitor, and a little bit more clarity as well. So the first scenario, if you're one of those, and I know a few musicians like this, that you've got to have that absolute clarity and you want it loud on stage, you want to hear yourself, you may want to consider using a monitor, because that's just going to give you that in your face. And some musicians, they want to hear that. They want to hear themselves loud and clear. Me, I kind of don't mind hearing myself kind of in the background, so not having a monitor works, but hey, having one, well, that works as well. But that's one scenario. If you really need to hear yourself loud and clear, then yeah, having a floor monitor is definitely going to help with that. Another scenario is if you have someone on stage with you. Most of you know that my wife, she comes up there and she'll sing a few songs at the end of each set. So for her, it's very helpful to have that additional sound system up there. She needs to hear herself, and with me standing to the side of the Evolve 50M and then her on the other side of me, well, that's not quite ideal. So of course she prefers to have that monitor. She can hear things much better with the floor monitor there. And of course that would go if you are a duo or trio, or hey, some people use these systems. They'll have two of these systems. Actually, I know a girl, her name is Mallory Moyer. She's a really awesome musician. She plays with two of these systems with her full band. Another scenario is if you have a larger stage, and if it's just a larger place overall, well, maybe you don't want to be confined to one little spot on stage. You want to spread things out a little bit. So in this case, I had the opportunity to kind of spread all of the gear out, so I'm not so restricted. Sometimes, you know, we're in those corners when we're playing solo gigs, and of course in that situation you definitely don't need a monitor at all. But in this case, this is a large stage, so I got to spread everything out a little bit, so having that monitor helped. As promised, let's do a quick run through of the gear that I use for this show. Before we do that though, I just want to say thank you once again to Electro-Voice for sending me this system. This has cut down so much on the teardown and setup time, and not just the time, but just the hassle, the overall hassle with having to set up a traditional PA system. You know, the speaker stands, the big speakers, all the cables that go with that, the additional soundboard and so forth. This just makes everything so much more convenient. I do have a link to Electro-Voice's website where you can learn more about this system and get the specs and all that good stuff. I also have a link to Sweetwater. I'm an affiliate for Sweetwater, so hey, if you want to purchase the system, if you click on that link, I do get a very small commission, and hey, that helps support the channel. Let's start with the guitar effects. So I am using, and you guys know I have been using this for a very long time now. This has been the culprit of my guitar sounds for my live solo gigs for both acoustic and electric, but we've got the Line 6 Pod Go. Now, the first time I used this system, you guys probably remember this, at the other winery, Keel and Curly Winery, I actually plugged my acoustic directly into the Evolve 50M and used their acoustic sound, their acoustic preset, which sounded great. That was just fine. However, I just prefer the sounds that I have in my Pod Go for, again, both acoustic and electric. You guys know I like to rock out sometimes at these gigs. I have the Pod Go connected to my Ditto X4 looper. That's how I'm able to have that acoustic loop. I'll play a loop, play a little rhythm there, record that, right? And then I'll switch guitars a lot of times, get my electric out, or a lot of times I'll just solo with my acoustic guitar. And of course, having the Pod Go allows me to change from my rhythm acoustic to my lead acoustic, boosting the volume and adding a little bit more delay. So that's what I'm using for the guitar effects. And of course, I've got that running into just one flat channel on the Evolve 50M. Now we've got two other cables coming out of here, channels 1 and 2 of the Evolve 50M, and those are the mics. Those are going directly to my mic, and I have a mic set up for my wife as well. And we're not using any additional effects. We're just using the vocal presets, vocal mic presets on the Evolve 50M. I think those sound great, and they also have some reverb on them. The Evolve 50M has a lot of different effects. I have not even tapped into all that yet. I just added a touch of reverb for the vocals, and actually I I need to play around with the effects with the Evolve 50M, and of course you can expect that on a future video as well. And again, we are using the Electro-Voice floor monitor here. This is the PXM12MP floor monitor. It is 700 watts. You can see you've got multiple channels here, and there are a lot of different features on this monitor as well. You can EQ it how you want and that sort of thing. You also have a separate volume for each channel, and a lot of times I play at venues where I plug into their sound system. I don't need to bring my own, but I'll still oftentimes bring my floor monitor if the space is big enough, and I'll adjust the volume accordingly, because sometimes if I'm playing through the system and then running that mix directly to my floor monitor here, well, it might be too loud or not loud enough. So you've got the ability to adjust all that, and you can EQ it. Again, you can make adjustments to it. So it's just a cool monitor to have. I have not even used it to its full capacity, but it has come in so handy over the years. So guys, leave me any questions in the comments, and I would love to know if you use a monitor, if you have a column system like this, like the Electro-Voice Evolve 50M. Do you use a monitor with that, or do you just use the system itself? I'd love to know that in the comments. So hey, drop me a comment, and don't forget to check out the links, guys, in the description of this video. That really helps support my channel. I appreciate it. Lastly, if you're new to playing live solo gigs, or if it's something you've never really thought about but you think it might be cool to do, I have got a complete tutorial on how to get started. I give you everything from A to Z, everything you need. It's about a 39-minute tutorial, so make a cup of coffee or maybe a glass of cold craft beer and just sit down and watch that video and take notes. I'll have it up here for you. Do check that out. Guys, thank you so much. Please give this video a like. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. And as always, keep playing music.